Imagine a time before Zeus, before Mount Olympus, before the gods you know from Greek mythology. The cosmos was ruled by older, darker beings, the Titans. They embodied primal forces. And for ages they reigned, but prophecy foretold their doom. A single hidden child would rise a power strong enough to shatter their age. This is the story of the Titanomachy, the 10-year war of gods and titans, a battle that shook the foundations of the world. Long before the Olympians, the universe began with chaos, a yawning void. From chaos came Gaia, the earth, and Uranus, the sky. Together they produced the first generation of divine beings, the Titans, the one-eyed Cyclops, and the monstrous Hecatoncheires, giants with 50 heads and 100 hands. But Uranus feared his children. He despised the Cyclops and Hecatoncheires, their power too great, their form too terrifying. To prevent them from rising against him, he hurled them deep into the earth, imprisoning them within Gaia's body. Gaia's pain was unbearable. She plotted revenge and forged a sickle of unbreakable adamant, but only one of her children dared to wield it, her youngest Titan son, Cronus. One night, Gaia lured Uranus close. As he lay with her, Cronus struck, ambushing his father and castrating him with the sickle. From Uranus's blood were born the Furies, the giants, and the nymphs of the ash tree. From the foam of the sea that carried his severed flesh rose Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. Cronus had overthrown the sky and seized his throne. But as Uranus fell, he cursed his son, "You too shall be betrayed by your child." With Uranus gone, Cronus became king of the cosmos. He married his sister Rhea, and together they ruled during what poets later called the Golden Age. Mortals lived in peace, untouched by war or famine. The earth bore fruit without labor. Yet behind this golden peace lay Cronus's terror of the prophecy. Every time Rhea bore a child, Cronus swallowed it whole. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon all devoured and trapped inside him. He thought himself safe from betrayal. But Rhea's grief grew unbearable. When her sixth child was born, she could not let Cronus consume it. She turned to her mother Gaia for aid. Rhea secretly gave birth on the island of Crete. In a cave on Mount Ida, she hid her infant son, Zeus. Nymphs nursed him on milk and honey, while the Curetes, armored guardians, clashed their spears on their shields to drown out the baby's cries. To trick Cronus, Rhea swaddled a stone and gave it to him as if it were her newborn. Cronus swallowed it without question. Zeus grew in secret, hidden from his father's gaze. Some myths say he was raised by the goat Amalthea, whose horn became the cornucopia, the horn of plenty. Others say doves brought him ambrosia from the heavens. However it happened, Zeus survived, destined to fulfill the prophecy. When Zeus came of age, he planned to overthrow his father, with help from the Titaness Metis. He brewed a potion and disguised himself as a servant in Cronus's court. He tricked his father into drinking it. The potion forced Cronus to vomit up the children he had swallowed. One by one, the Olympians emerged grown, armed, and furious. United with Zeus, they declared war, but they were still outnumbered. Cronus commanded the Titans. Powerful and ancient, the younger gods needed allies, so Zeus descended into Tartarus. Where the Cyclops and Hecatoncheires languished in chains, he freed them, earning their loyalty. In gratitude, the Cyclops forged weapons of unimaginable power for Zeus, the thunderbolts, crackling with heavenly fire. For Poseidon, the trident, capable of shaking the seas. For Hades, the helm of darkness, granting invisibility. With these, the Olympians were ready for war. The Titans rallied on Mount Ophres, led by Cronus and his fierce general Atlas. The Olympians assembled on Mount Olympus, with Zeus as their leader. For 10 long years, the war raged across the cosmos. The battles were cataclysmic. Mountains were hurled like stones. Seas boiled, the earth cracked, and the sky burned with thunder. The Hecatoncheires, with their 100 arms, rained boulders upon the Titans, shaking even their colossal strength. At first, the Titans held their ground. Their size and might were unmatched. But they lacked unity. Cronus ruled through fear, and many Titans secretly doubted him. Meanwhile, the Olympians fought with passion, bound by loyalty and purpose. The turning point came when Zeus, wielding his thunderbolt, unleashed storms so fierce they split the heavens. Lightning blazed, the seas roared under Poseidon's trident, and Hades' helm allowed him to strike unseen, spreading terror. In the chaos, the Olympians gained the upper hand. The Titans faltered, then fell. Cronus and his allies were captured. Most were cast into Tartarus, a pit so deep even light cannot reach it, guarded forever by the Hecatoncheires. But Zeus reserved a special punishment for Atlas, who had fought with unmatched fury. Atlas was condemned to bear the weight of the heavens on his shoulders for eternity, a punishment without end. Not all Titans were imprisoned. Some, like Oceanus and Themis, had remained neutral. They were spared, allowed to live under the new Olympian order. With victory secured, Zeus and his brothers divided the cosmos by lot. Zeus claimed the skies, Poseidon the seas, and Hades the underworld. The earth was left in common, shared by all. The Olympians took their thrones on Mount Olympus, and the age of the Titans ended. And no age had dawned, the rule of the gods we know from myth: Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Hades, Demeter, and Hestia. But victory did not bring peace. Gaia, furious at the fate of her children, would soon unleash a new enemy upon Zeus, the monstrous Typhon, a beast so vast it nearly destroyed Olympus itself. And later, the Titanomachy, the war with the giants, would test the gods again. The Titanomachy, however, remained the defining moment, the war that shaped the divine order, the cosmic struggle between old and new, and the triumph of prophecy over fear. The Titanomachy is not just a myth of war. It's a story about the cycle of power, how every ruler, no matter how mighty, lives under the shadow of betrayal. Uranus fell to Cronus. Cronus fell to Zeus. And even Zeus would one day fear the prophecy of his own downfall. It is a myth that reminds us, in the world of gods and men alike, no throne is ever truly secure. This was the Titanomachy, the 10-year war of gods and titans, the thunderous birth of Olympus, and the story that defined Greek mythology for millennia.